Hi, and welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. My name is George Alger. Today we're going to be talking with Dr. Crystal Naone of the Conejo Valley Boys and Girls Club. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you very much.
Did I pronounce your name right?
Close. You used an M instead of an N.
Jeez. Pronounce it correctly.
Yep, Naone.
And that's Hawaiian, and what does that mean?
It means the sands, so plural.
Very beautiful name.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the Boys and Girls Club. All right, so this is a particularly large club, so can you tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So Boys and Girls Club of Greater Conejo Valley, we're an independent 501c3. There are 4,000 Boys and Girls Clubs across the country. That's why most people have probably heard or seen a Boys and Girls Club in their neighborhood. We are one of the top 100, which means that we've got large budget, we have great outcomes for our kids. We have 9 club locations, starting in Calabasas all the way to Newberry Park.
Is that unusual to have that many locations?
Yep, that's why top 100 out of 4,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with all those locations, does that mean these are all different activities, or they're just different locations for similar activities?
Yeah, so our founder, Cal Johnston, was brilliant, in my opinion. His idea was to place clubs on school campuses. And so we're located like at Bay Laurel Elementary, Chaparral, AC Stell, AE Wright. We're at Redwood Middle, we're at Sequoia. So our clubs are located on elementary and middle school campuses. We do the same types of services for the kids in those communities with a little bit of differentiation based on the grade, right? So if it's kindergarten, it's one thing, and if it's 8th grade, it's another. But same types of services. Enriching kids' lives, helping to build great futures for them so that they can become productive community members.
Good. So let's speak a little bit about the history of the Boys and Girls Club. How did it come to be?
So history of our Boys and Girls Club?
Well, in general, for people who aren't familiar with Boys and Girls Clubs at all.
Yeah, so originally it was the Boys Club, all the way until 1993, 1994. And it was an out-of-school space for kids to go in order to stay out of trouble, right? That's the premise. Lots of clubs have basketball facilities to this day, lots of sports activities. That's one of our anchors, healthy lifestyles. We also have academic success and character leadership as kind of our pillars of what we do in our clubs every day, before, during, and in the middle of school, like lunchtime, and after school. But it was a safe place for kids to be, so that both working parents didn't have to worry about what kind of trouble their kids were going to be getting into.
Good. So that's a commonality across the country. Yep. Are there distinct differences between different clubs in different places of the country?
Sure. We like to say it's place-based. So what are the needs of a particular community, what you might need in an urban setting versus what you might need in Calabasas or Newberry Park or Thousand Oaks. They could be different. I mean, all kids have particular needs, which is having a safe space to be, a caring adult, somebody that can help them with their homework, and they need some physical activity, right? Because our schools have kind of steered away from recess and PE in a way that isn't necessarily healthy for the brain, right? So I would say that all kids need those things, and then we support kids in whatever their individual needs are as well.
Good. Now, did you mention you actually do something at lunchtime as well?
Yeah, we have lunch club at our middle school sites. So think about a kid who maybe is getting bullied at school or is new to the community and doesn't feel like they fit in quite yet. Our lunch club is a great opportunity for them to come in, and the folks in our club, our adult staff, identify those kinds of things immediately and pair kids with great new friends that they make. So they say that lunch club is a great place to meet good friends.
Nice. Okay, so Boys and Girls Club is more than just after school. It's certainly lunch. Is it also earlier than that?
Yeah, so a lot of the families in our community, people think, 101 corridor, you don't have any issues. That's not true, right? We've got a lot of double working, both parents are working or single parents working, and they may have to commute into LA or wherever it is. So they can drop their child off at as early as 7 o'clock. And in lots of situations, the school doesn't start till 9, so they're with us for a couple of hours, or 8:30 or whatever it is, but they have a safe place to get dropped off early in the morning, especially in the winter when it's dark, right? Those are important things. And we feed them breakfast, and then they get to bond. Whatever homework that they didn't get done, they can get done. There's a supportive adult there. And then, like I said, they can come back at lunch, and then they come back traditionally after school as well.
Okay, all right. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that make the Conejo Valley Boys and Girls Club distinct. So certainly it's big. It seems like the breakfast and the lunch club, I mean, is that unique too?
I'm not sure that it's unique, but some models are different across the country. So maybe they're only open after school because there's transportation. So one of the things that's great about our organization is that we are on school campuses. So unless we're transporting elementary kids to the middle school campus, they just walk right across, right? So that's why we're able to do before, during, and after. So lots of clubs are located off campus, and so maybe they only do after school opportunities.
Okay, good. So there are other things that you want to mention that the Greater Conejo Valley clubs are doing.
Yeah, so it's interesting. If you think about what you'd want for your kid and the level of competition that there is to get into schools, the level, like everybody wants their child to be successful. We've all heard the statistic that this is the first generation where kids are not going to do as well as their parents. We provide all of those extra opportunities that they're not going to get in school, and they don't necessarily get out of school either, so that they can be as successful as possible. So we've got great like STEM and robotics, we've got like coding, we have great art, like drumming. We've got just phenomenal amounts of stuff. One of my favorites is sprout ball. And
say that again?
Sprout ball. It's like dodgeball.
Okay.
Whenever I go to clubs, I like go hang out with kids and play sprout ball.
Okay.
I've been into it. And we have like dance stuff. Like there's all kinds of video things. I'm not as big of a fan as the video games that we have after school, because I'm thinking like our kids need other brain development opportunities. But it's interesting. You can have an extremely shy kid that comes into club and will go to play a video game, because then that means they don't have to interact with anybody else. But then you'll look on that couch and you'll see like kid next to kid next to kid next to kid that's super introverted and super shy that suddenly become best friends with the ones around them. So I'm a little bit more I'm a little bit more supportive of the video game aspect. Just based on that. But we have something for every kid. That's the point. Whether it be art or science or music or just after school homework support. Like that's a really big deal. I know I have 3 boys and a daughter, and the 3 boys a little bit more difficult around the homework situation, and one more difficult than the other, and I won't name who or what. They know who they are. But I can tell you that I wish that I had a Boys and Girls Club, especially for one of my children, so that if I was able to come home from work and all the homework was done, that would be a very different kind of evening for our family. Like we could focus on the food and what did you do and all of those things. There was a lot of stress with 4 kids in the house growing up around like, did you get your homework done, and sitting at the table and all those things. So the Boys and Girls Club, we have what's called a power hour, where everything shuts down at 4 o'clock, and kids will get tutoring support, homework help, get their stuff done. Some kids need more help than others. Check off. We interact with the teachers. We know, like, the homework follows them, so they can't say, I don't have any homework. So we've got a great system, and it's supportive for all different kids in our club.
Great. So for someone who's hearing this, but is not familiar with the program, could you describe the path and the cost to bring a kid in the club?
Sure. So you can go online. We have a website, bgcconejo.org, so for Boys and Girls Club, and then Conejo Valley. And you can register that way. You can come into a club at any of the campuses that we're on. Lots of times teachers will make referrals for kids that they think that it would be helpful to them. But you can come in and you can buy a 10-day pass, and the kids can try it out. Kids can bring their friends in for a couple of days, up to 3 days, and try it out also, just to see if it's something that they like. We do have fees that range from $195 to, don't quote me on that, like in the $200 range, depending on the intensity of the services. But we don't turn any child away. So we're in a mixed income neighborhood, obviously. So those who can pay do pay, and those who can't, we scholarship them. And nobody is ever turned away in any situation or circumstance. It's a nice thing.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, so basically they can go to the website.
Yep.
Okay, or get referrals, as you're mentioning.
Or walk into a club.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just about out of time here. I'm wondering if there's a summating message you could convey to the viewers. And let's get the website one more time.
Sure. Well, one of the interesting things I heard very recently is that if a kid comes to one of our clubs and they come during the school year and they come during the summer, they will actually spend more time in our club than they will in school.
Wow.
And for me, that is powerful. Like, what are the opportunities that we're providing for our kids? Like, not just safe and nurturing spaces for them to be, but places for them to be healthy and active and grow academically. I wish that when I was growing up, which was before it was the Boys and Girls Club, that I would have had the opportunity to hang out in one of these clubs. I think that my path probably would have been a little bit easier as a child of a 16-year-old mother, which is also why I do this work. In terms of website, that's Boys and Girls Club at Conejo Valley, right? So bgcconejo.org.
Thank you very much, Crystal.
Thanks. It's been a great time.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until I meet again.